In not a distant future, we will look back at this time in history and wonder, how could it be? How could we be so brutal? What kind of animals were humans back then? It's not going to be in a long time. It's going to be in just a couple decades at most. We'll look back in time in the same way we looked at Germany in World War II and wonder, how the fuck did that happen? Didn't people know any better? And then you realize that, honestly, a lot probably didn't. You didn't have internet. You barely had TV and radio. And what you got was mostly propaganda. I mean, everything, unless you were pretty savvy on the tech aspect in the 1940s. Now it's a little bit more difficult to justify because you do know what's going on. Unless you are a complete fool, you know exactly what's going on. You may choose to look the other side, and I do that all the time. Every single day, I choose not to see what's going on in this part of the world because I just can't take it anymore. It drives you fucking nuts. If you see how many people are raised, children are starving to death, if you see the disaster that all of this was, and this is just a perfect picture of this madness. We are living in idiocracy, evil version. What you see is aid packages being dropped on the starving people in Gaza. 5 of those boxes didn't deploy, the parachute didn't deploy properly, and 5 people were crushed to death. By the same people that are doing this to them, the same people that allow this to happen, the same people that look the other way or even financed the largest open-air prison the world has ever seen for over 30 years. That's not a joke. That's exactly what's been going on, and we knew it. I mean, some people maybe don't even know where they're standing. Maybe some people, and I know this is true, some people cannot point themselves in a fucking map. They don't know who the president is. They don't know what country they live in. They cannot even mention their own fucking continent. That is also true. But a lot of us do. A lot of us knew all along what was happening here. And we just choose to, well, it's not... let's just ignore it. We keep on ignoring it, and things keep getting more brutal, up to this point where you have 2 million people that are now being slowly starved to death, right? And the same people that allow this to happen, that did this, that financed this, that sent the bombs, that dropped the bombs, that are aiding in this brutal fucking massacre, so as to clean their conscience, they drop a few boxes of food on these starving people. Yeah, 30 boxes on 2 million people. That's going to be super helpful. It's of course only the healthy, the young male guys that run towards that. The starving women, children, no, they're not going to be getting any of this. Why would they? They cannot physically get to it. And it's all going to be gone. If you really cared, you would not have done this in the first place. If you do this, dropping a few boxes of food does not make it right, does not clean anything. But I just think it's so fucking ironic. They even kill people when they pretend to give a flying fuck. A flying fuck, literally, because it's a plane, yeah. Man, we are, and as I've mentioned before, this just shows where we are. We are living in a time in which a judge of the Supreme Court cannot say what a woman is because, in her own words, she is not a biologist. How the fuck are you going to be looking after the rights of women? I wonder. If you cannot define what a woman is, how are you going to, because I assume if you cannot say what a woman is, you cannot say what a man is or what a child is. How are you going to look after the rights of children as a judge of the Supreme Court if you cannot define one? Right. You don't have to be a vet to know what a dog is. You don't need to be a carpenter to describe what a table is. Yet that's the crazy world in which we live in. We live in a world in which people go voluntarily to get shit shot into their veins without knowing what it is. Parts of the world where they go and get a chip happily installed in their hands or their eyes scanned, or even pay so as to give up their own DNA to corporations that then sell it to the different governments of the world. We live in that fucking insane, crazy world. We live in a world where it's anti-human. We not only do this, we do this to ourselves. We encourage the idea of Planned Parenthood, not being planned and definitely not being parents. It's actually more about exterminating people that are inconvenient, either to you or to those in power. And we make all of that good. It's all okay. Because it all is. It doesn't matter if it's the Palestinians, the Israelis, the Ukrainians, the Russians or Chinese, or that kid from an impoverished neighborhood in the United States, or whatever it is. No. If people are inconvenient, we just get rid of them, sometimes in brutal fashion. We do that to ourselves, and we don't even realize, because we've lost our humanity. All of this shows how much of our humanity we've lost. And we're headed that way. We're going extinct on our own accord, voluntarily so. There's actually very interesting groups that are lobbying for human extinction. I mean, at this point, why not? We've already seen it all. Why would it be crazy to have some intellectuals explain to us why it would be better if humans did not exist anymore? I mean, we had in the 80s people going into some of the most important talk shows in the United States explaining how we were overpopulated. There's just too much people. Fucking Letterman laughed when Natalie Portman told him that her father was a fertility doctor. We need more people, right? Stupid doctor. Natalie Portman. Yeah. This is not something that just happened. I guess that's my point. This isn't weird, strange. No. This is one of the final episodes of this mini-series that is humanity. We've survived for millions of years. We've evolved to the point where we just deny our own nature. Not only even as human beings, we deny our own nature as mammals even. The idea of gender roles. A man is supposed to be a woman, and a woman is supposed to be a man. That's what's good for humanity. Women not having fucking kids. That's not the cornerstone of survival for all species. No, that's something that needs to be stripped away from our culture so as to be more inclusive. Inclusive of what? There's not going to be anything to be included into when we are no more. It's all the same thing. It's the different sides of the same thing. It's facets that it has, like one of those disco balls, that has all of the little mirrors reflecting light. Well, these are all of those little mirrors, and together it's all the same thing. We just haven't realized yet, but you better do, and you better start preparing. And for that, you have my channel, you have my books over there, which are available in Amazon. And I wish you all the luck in the world, because we will desperately need it right now. Take care.